Join Jesus where he's already at work. We dream of the day where every home in America is adopted by one or more persons living the prayer, care, share lifestyle. Our host, Gary Kendall, began Love KC with a desire to see every home in Kansas City prayed for. Join with him to make this happen. Now, on to the Bless Podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Bless Podcast, where we join Jesus where he's already at work, where we live, learn, work, and play. I'm excited today to talk about a walk for unity that's happening in Kansas City just a week away. It's not very far away. And I've invited Shannon Benton, who's the Director of Communications for Unite KC, and Jeanette Dewey, who works with her and also works with me at Westside Family Church, to join us today for a discussion about what's happening. And Shannon, let me just start with you. Where did this idea come from? I love it. I'm excited about it, but how did it come to be?
Yeah, it's been a collaborative effort for sure. So originally we had talked about wanting to introduce Unite KC to the city using Underground, actually, a performance that happens every year at the Kaufman Center. And unfortunately, it wasn't able to happen this past year. And so just trying to think, how can we really bring people together and help them know about Unite KC and what's going on and ways to get plugged in to doing good things around the city. And so just kind of kicked several ideas around, but really a lot of it came from meeting with our communications team. So we have different industries that Unite KC is involved in. And so one of them is communications. And so we have bi-weekly meetings. And so we just talked about rallies that have happened in the past. And I also had an idea from something one of the board members said way back in the beginning about a year ago. And so really just a lot of discussion and figuring out what's possible right now, and then getting some other creatives involved and getting some of the other leadership in Unite KC involved. And so here we are. It turned into the Walk for Unity.
Yeah. So I want to come back to what you just said, because we're going to talk about a Walk for Unity and specifically because we want people to know what it is and how to get there and all of that. But I want to come back to the overall desire for Unite KC, what it's about, and where that came from. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
yeah. So someone tell me about the what's happening next Saturday.
On Saturday, we are going to be meeting down at the corner of Troost and Truman. Is that right? It's Truman, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let me make sure. There's a field there, and we're going to be meeting there and gathering together. We'll have some encouraging, inspiring words from our executive director, Ray Jarrett, and then we're going to walk down Troost together, and we will eventually make our way over to the MLB Urban Youth Baseball Academy, and we're really excited about it. When we get there, we will hear from both Ray and Dayton Moore, who was very instrumental. I mean, he was really kind of the spark that got this this particular movement going. We will hear some remarks from them, and then there will be an opportunity for people to find out about all the different market sectors and places that they can connect with and get involved with Unite KC to bring about and accelerate positive change in Kansas City.
Great. So the 17th, Saturday the 17th,
Yep.
9:30.
9:30.
9:30. Sorry, is the start time?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And,
I might need to leave at 7:30, but
yeah,
9:30.
Yeah, and honestly, we would love it if people could get there a little bit early, because we will be getting people organized in a specific way as we get ready to march down, or not march, but walk down down Troost together. That's
great. Well, I know a little bit of the story of the Red Line and why this is important, not just for our present, but because of our past. But can one of you talk me through a little bit, just so that the people who might not have a context, why are we meeting down there? Why are we doing it this way? And what's the what do we hope to gain from that?
Sure. Yeah. So you mentioned the redlining. So in Kansas City, there, and part of the development of the city, there were racially restrictive housing covenants that were used, and what it did was effectively created a dividing line where African Americans were not able to buy housing on the west side of Troost. And so you had basically Black people on the east side of Troost, and white people lived on the west side. And so there was a great divide in Kansas City. And if you look at, there's a 2010 census, there's a picture of the demographics of who lives where, and it's still very much divided. So these racially restrictive covenants are no longer legal, but decades after they've been made illegal, you still have that that division in Kansas City. And so we want to be intentional about acknowledging the past of Kansas City's history, but also of coming together and crossing those lines that have divided, and coming against the effects of really the division that has caused in our city in so many ways.
Right. Yeah, I'm really grateful for the calling attention to this. Honestly, I wasn't aware of it until like 2 years ago, and I went to the Walk on Troost last year, and that was super helpful. I went through actually Love KC set up they rented a building and had a display that took about 2 hours to walk through, and it kind of explained all of the history behind the redlining and how the devastating effects of that. And it was sobering. It was challenging. I shed a lot of tears that day. And as painful as all of that is, like we're faced with today, we have to be sure to try to forge a different future and a better future. And part of that, I think, is being connected to our past and learning some of the reasons why we face some of the challenges we do, and trying to understand what we can do to work together for a better future. Yeah. So thanks for doing what you're doing. Is it a family-friendly event? Can people bring their kids? And is there anything for kids to do at the end of the walk? Tell me about that.
Yes, it is family-friendly. Please bring everyone. It takes everyone to come together and to work toward unity. So when we get to Urban Youth Academy, we'll have a coffee cart. We'll have shaved ice. So you have the adults and the kids. We'll also have an art station for kids. We'll have some family games like cornhole. There'll be like a kickball, wiffle ball tournament, something. I don't know. I'm not running that, but there will be games there, and we'll have live music. We'll have food, and just getting to celebrate the steps towards unity that we just took, and doing life together.
That's awesome. I watched the video that you guys produced. It was so well done. We put it on a blog for Love KC and shared it with our community. Really, I think it's a hopeful statement that we can have a better future if we work together.
Yeah.
Great. So can we swing back a little bit now? If someone doesn't know Unite KC at all, how did it come about?
Yes.
You take this one, Shannon.
Okay. Well, so Unite KC, it's a movement, really. It's a faith-based grassroots movement, and we're working toward racial healing in Kansas City. And so it really started with a text message on June 5th of 2020. Dayton Moore just saw what was going on, in our country, as so many of us did, our country. So obviously divided, and basically was like, what's going on it's not right, and we have to do something. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm ready. Right. And so he sent that text message to some friends, and really just started a series of conversations and meetings, and gathering more people gathering in different leaders from various industries in Kansas City, and just talking about what does that look like to do something, to take action, not just to get stuck in talking about doing something, but to put that into action. And so it started with this past year is our first year, and so a lot of meetings and strategizing, and how do we connect people to the good things already happening in Kansas City and highlighting them. And
And there's different divisions. I think I heard Jeanette say there's or different parts of the same whole, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that makes Unite KC unique. because we've identified so far 10 or 11 different market sectors. So it's everything from education to housing to churches to business, communication. And what we're doing is you can opt into any one of these groups that you have a personal affinity to. Maybe you work in the business community and you've seen things in your industry area that aren't right. And so what we're asking these groups to do is to, number one, identify what are the things that need to be done. Where are there covenants like that redline covenant or redlining that had happened in the past with housing, and what can we do now to break the past covenants and reset and work towards something that's much more inclusive, much more unifying, and the direction that we want KC to go. So we're working in tandem in all of these different market sectors, if you will, and but we have our own little piece. So but we're still together as part of this whole effort with Unite KC, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and we're going to have to do it together, right?
Yep.
It has to be a lot of listening, a lot of working together to get where we want to go.
Yeah. And the thing that I think is neat about it is that, I could never go into maybe like the education industry and say, oh, that needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed. But an educator can,
right.
And so somebody who is involved in that industry, maybe they're even just a parapro, but they've seen it, they've seen enough, they've been around it, and they can speak life into this movement and bring change.
Yeah, so good. Well, thanks for taking time today. Shannon, anything you want to add to that?
Well, I would just say, along with the industries, that it's for people who are working in those industries, but also, if that's something that you're interested in, or you don't have that experience, it's not just leaders. We know it really is going to take everyone. And so I'm interested in communications, and I'm interested in arts and culture. And maybe you were like Dayton, and I want to do something. I don't know what that looks like. We really want to encourage people to do one good thing. And so these industries, yes. And so these industries aren't just looking for, what is going wrong, but okay, we see what needs to be changed, and then here's one good thing that we can do to work towards that. And so everyone has an easy entry point to do one good thing and then do the next. So.
Right. That's great. And if people come to the walk and they go to the end, they're going to hear more about Unite KC and next steps and things like that, I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you ladies jumping on today. And I didn't hear about this as early as I wish I would have, but as soon as I heard about it, I wanted to go full speed ahead and do all we could to get the word out.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm really excited for Saturday.
We are too. I'll see you there.
Yeah, sounds good.
So Jeanette, Dewey, and Shannon Benton, thank you for joining us today on the Blessed podcast. And we want to get this word out for the Walk for Unity and all of the good things that can follow as long as we keep taking that walk together.
Yes.
God bless you, ladies. Yeah.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening from the folks at Love KC. We hope you enjoyed our program. See you next time.